Okay, so what I'm going to do, I brought some Zentangle tiles and some pencils, and I'm giving these to you, okay? I'm giving you these. So I want you to take one of each as they get passed around, okay? So you can have a little bit of fun doing some Zentangle with us. And these pencils are very, very special pencils. They have my name on them. And they have my website, so you know how to get a hold of me. I give these away as business cards. Okay? Okay, so raise your hand if you have no idea what Zentangle is. Wow, a lot of you, cool. And then you're still here anyway, huh? That's pretty cool. Zentangle is a movement that's 10 years old. It was started by a couple in Massachusetts, Rick Roberts and Maria Thomas, and they met when he's a professional flute maker and makes these hand-carved wooden flutes, and she's a calligrapher by trade. So they met when he hired her to do the artwork, the calligraphy on his flutes. Okay? And they fell in love, and as they say, the rest is history. But they're both very artsy, and they started doing this thing with drawing, and they realized that it was very therapeutic. So they started promoting it as art therapy. It was started as a treatment or a therapy for people with mental illness, ADD, autism, Asperger's, people who were abused, and mostly children. But it's been very, very well received throughout the world. A lot of art therapists now are using it. A lot of school teachers are using it. Okay, and it's something that the sewing world has kind of gone, wow, this is pretty cool. We should do this. And I love it. When I went to be certified, and to legally teach it, you have to be certified by them. When I went to be certified, they taught us how to do it on paper. So we're going to do one on paper together. And actually, I should have grabbed a tile for myself. Where's the stack? Let me come around. Can you just pass one up to me? I didn't grab one for myself. Actually, pass me up a pencil too. I don't have a pencil. Thank you. So anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to do it on paper. There are official Zentangle tiles. They're a little pricey. So what I did is I went to the same factory where they buy their paper, and I just had it cut to the Zentangle size. So these don't say Zentangle on the back of them, but there's official Zentangle tiles that say Zentangle tile on the back in this, okay? It says Zentangle. The nice thing about this is there's no right side or wrong side. If you're using an official tile, you only have one side to draw on. With these, you can draw on both sides. Okay, so you can do a couple with this. But this is the same paper. It's from a factory in Italy. It's called Fabriano, and if you're in the art world, you probably have heard of them. But it's very expensive paper, but I imported a whole bunch of it. It's like this box came in. It was like this big, like this, kind of like this, and maybe about that thick. And it probably weighed 50 pounds. It was so heavy. My husband comes in, he goes, what is in this box? It's so heavy. Because it wasn't that big of a box. And I said, paper. How much was this? And I'm like, don't ask. So then when I pulled it out, I thought, oh, it was, I think the pages were 24 by 18. I don't remember. And so I thought, I'm going to have to buy a big commercial guillotine like my friend Becca has to do the cutting. And I thought, well, that's going to be tough. So I called my printer and I said, I have some paper that needs cutting. Can you do that? And he's like, sure. So I brought it over, and in 5 minutes it was all cut. It was like, thanks. So it was good. Anyway, so, but this is our own paper. So if you are a school teacher or someone and you want to do this like for your students or do it for your grandkids or something, if you want it in bulk, just let us know. And I'm sure Janice will be happy to get that for you. All right, so some of the tools that we use in Zentangle, there's a lot of different stuff. And honestly, you can use anything you want, okay? You really can. You can use anything you want. I'm just going to show you what I use, all right? There are official Zentangle pen sets. So here's, is this in the camera here? So these are like official Zentangle pen sets. These come with tiles in them, the official tiles, and this one has artist trading cards. Y'all know what artist trading cards are? Our artist trading cards are, I think it's a 2.5 by 3.5, but it's a little card. It's kind of like a business card. And what artists do is they decorate them with whatever their art is. If they're watercolors, they might paint them. And if you're Zentangle, you can Zentangle it. Or if you, I had some that I did that were metal embossed. But with artist trading cards, you're not allowed to sell them. You're not allowed to give them away. You can only trade them with other artists. And they actually make artist trading card boxes, so like collecting baseball cards, but you trade them. So what you do is you decorate a bunch of them, and then when you meet another artist that has one, you trade. And on the back of it, you put your name and your information, the name of the and then if you titled your artwork, if it has a title, whatever, you sign it. But so they have all of your information, and it's just a way for artists to trade work. And a little small format. Kind of fun. Anyway, so if you do one and you want to trade with me, let me know. So then when I became certified, I knew that I was not going to be doing it much on paper. That really wasn't my thing. Because I'm a textile person. I'm a textile hoe. How many of you like to go in the fabric store and just feel everything, right? And I think we're, as a group, I know I'm preaching to the choir here, we're very tactile, and we really, really like the feel of fabric in our hands. So I started right away, from the get-go, doing Zentangle on fabric. And got me that pillow with the knots in the corner. Right there, yeah. This was the very first piece that I did after I became certified. Okay? I started this, I got home from my certification program on a Wednesday night. On Thursday morning, I had to be working at a quilt show in Vermont. I was in the long arm room assisting the long arm teacher. I was actually hired by the long arm company to be just a machine tech assistant person. And so while she's talking and teaching, I'm sitting in the back doing my little Zentangle. And I did that over the 3-day period when I wasn't needed at the machines. So then I thought, well, this is kind of fun. I'll make it into a pillow. So I made this into a pillow. So now this is going to be in my new book. I have a new book coming out later this year. I will be sure to let Janice know when it's available if you're interested. And it's called The Tangled Home, and it's all kinds of things that you can Zentangle for your home. Okay? So I'll pass this pillow around. And so then I started doing Zentangle on other stuff. I mean, the sneaker. Here's another little thing from my book. Isn't that fun? So all this stuff is, I was going to a 50s party, and I had saddle shoes, but they were from the 50s, and they were really stiff. I had really nice old ones, but they were just too stiff to wear. And I thought, I just took some sneakers and Zentangled the sneakers so they look like little saddle shoes. Yeah. Okay, so there should be a little placement underneath the pillow, right there, that one right there. So then this is another one of my early pieces. So I did the little square, and then this is Zentangle on the sides here. And then I put embroidery on. This is embroidery from my Pillow Talk book. Okay, so if you have my Pillow Talk book, you have this design. And then I looked at that, and I thought, it needed more, so I added the crystals. And I thought, oh, it would be kind of cool if I had a different embroidery design and I could fill it in. So I went to my Cheaper by the Dozen book, which has this beautiful butterfly embroidery, and this is not the original. The original, I've worn so much that the jacket was looking pretty bad, so I'm recreating the original. So what I did was I started doing Zentangle, and let me put it on the camera here. I started doing Zentangle. I did this embroidery design, and I skipped over the first two colors and just did the outline. Okay? And then I started filling in the spaces with Zentangle. And we'll do every time I teach a class, I work on it a little more. Isn't that fun? Yeah, and if you have an embroidery machine, if you think about it, when we do Zentangle, it starts out, we draw what we call a string. And a string you just draw some lines, and that basically divides the different sections of the different patterns. So the embroidery designs make a great a string. So then after I did that, I thought, well, I need some bling in. So I started adding crystals. So that was the start of Stitch, Tangle, and Bling. Okay? And then I started doing some other stuff. I took from my Pillow Talk book. This is an embroidery design from Pillow Talk, and I put it on this jacket. And again, this jacket I've worn quite a bit. Okay? Just a basic little jacket. And I did the Zentangle. And I did that with the brown sepia pens. Can you grab them? They're in a little red package. And these are pens that have, there are 4 different pens in here, and it's great for doing a Zentangle in the brown colors, which I love. Can you hand me that pillow with the butterfly? Right there. And this is another one. This is going to be in my new book right here. This is another project in my new book. Okay, with the butterfly, same butterfly that's on the jacket, and I've got the crystals. And, of course, you know, I hand-quilted this, right? What did I use to quilt this? My Sashiko machine. I'm telling you, it's such a cool machine. This has box pleated trim, and if you were here yesterday, you saw how we did the box pleats. If you weren't here yesterday, we have a tape, and I think we sold out of it, but we can certainly get it. And if you need me if you missed something yesterday and there's something you really want to see, when we take the break, come on up and I'll show you what you missed. Okay, I can't show you everything, but I'd be happy to do some little demoing during the break. Okay, so this has easy binding on it, which is a technique that's going to be in the new book. It also has what I call embellished cord, which I didn't do that yesterday, but I make piping, and then I use that foot with the groove down the middle, the pros and piping foot, and I zigzag or do a decorative stitch over the cord.
I do that tomorrow.
You're doing that tomorrow? Oh, wonderful. On a serger. Oh, man, I'm missing it. But you know what? Is Brad within earshot? I know, that's what I'm going to ask you, if I can have the video of that. I want to see what you're doing. This is the thing, I would have stayed tomorrow, except that my husband's work wife is getting married tomorrow. The lady he works side by side. His work wife. Yeah, he's got a ski wife, he's got a work wife, and then there's me. Huh? This is from Pillow Talk. Pillow Talk, yes. It's an embroidery design in Pillow Talk. But Brad, well, I know you're videotaping my stuff. Will I be able to have access to the stuff that Sue does to see how she does stuff on the serger? Okay, cool. Okay, I just wanted to know. This is another design from my new book. This embroidery design will be in my new book, as will the directions for doing the box pleated trim, of course, and the Zentangle. This also has embellished cord on it. Nice little placemat. You'll see a lot of this flannel fabric with the little lamb faces on it. I had a bolt of it hanging around for about maybe 3-4 years, and I just didn't know what to do with it. And all of a sudden, it's like I've started using this on all the back of my Zentangle projects, and now I'm out of it. And I was like, oh, I wish I had more of that little lamb fabric. I just love it. Okay, so in working on the new book, oh, let me give you that one too. This is another one. This is Zentangle by machine, and we will do some of this. To do this, I use the, yes, question?
Do you use the box pleat more for your trim on your pillows?
More than the knife? No. You know what? You know how I decide? It's when I grab the roll off the wall, it's the one that's in front. You know which one sells better? The one I'm demoing. They both work equally well.
They're both gone.
And they're both gone, but we can order them. And I do have rolls of tape up here so that you can see what the tape looks like if you missed it yesterday. Okay? All right. So, and for the people that missed it yesterday, they're going to have it available on YouTube for you. Okay? And so, again, if you see something on YouTube or you see something that we're sold out of, if you see something on YouTube and you want, wow, I really want that tape, come back into the store and say to Janice, look, I was watching the YouTube from Pam's event. I wasn't here that day. I missed out on the pleat tape, or I missed out on this, or I missed out on that. Could you order it? And she'll be happy to order it for you. Okay? However, if you buy it today, you get the discount. Just saying. Okay? Oh, by the way, too, the more stuff you buy, the easier it's going to be for me to put a new roof on my house. So thank you. You can come visit and say, I help finance that roof. Okay, so this is done with straight stitching. This is done with the Sashiko. Okay?
You're going to show us how you did that one.
So the straight stitching, that design, the feature that I use on my machine that I love so much is the laser light. You know that light? It's so cool. You're going to love it. So I've started working on different things for my new book, and one of them is just really fun stuff. So these are just covered buttons. Now you can put buttons in the middle of a pillow. You can put them on your garments, but I just wanted to show you how I could just do all different buttons. So these are just different sizes of buttons for you to look at. Okay. And we do sell, I notice, a lot of the covered buttons here in the store. I've got a sample. I had to sample one up here. I love these big covered buttons, you know. You could even just put a pin back on it and just use it as a brooch if you wanted to. Or just pin it onto your jacket. It would just make a really cool thing, okay?
They have the little, these. We trade these.
What are they?
They're little buttons.
Just a minute. I'll get my glasses out here.
They're little buttons.
Oh, cool. Is it a zinger or is it just a button?
Well, this one goes on your zip, on your
pull, zipper pull. That's cool.
And there's a button.
And there's a button too. Baby lock for the love. I'm sure you've all heard that. Yeah.
The big tall guy?
Yes, he's about 8'2". Really stands out in the crowd. Oh. And I was surprised. I met his wife, and she's normal height. She's 5'2".
She's down here.
Yeah. What's her name? Is it Debbie? Debbie? Mm-hmm. Yeah, nice lady. Awfully nice. Okay, so I just started, doing more stuff. And one of the things people say to me, does it always have to be in black? No, here's Zentangle in purple. So I'll show you on the camera. Okay. And so this one's done in purple. And I have another one that's done in blue, and that's on this jacket. Now, when I wear these jackets, like when I'm traveling through the airport or in restaurants, people stop me and say, where did you get that jacket? These are just from Christopher & Banks. They're very inexpensive little jeans jackets, and I love them. I wear them all the time.
Great canvas.
Great canvas. It's a great canvas, yes. That one's done in blue. You need your size? Sorry. And so that turtle's going to be in my new book. And so is this dragonfly. So some great embroidery designs in the new book. Makes you want to get an embroidery machine, doesn't it? The book will have the designs. I haven't figured out how I'm going to do the book, if I'm going to do the designs as a CD or as a link on my website, like a secret link that you can go to my website and download them. I haven't figured that out yet, okay? But we're working on that. That's the new book, yeah. That's the new book. This is one that I did last year where I was teaching at a store in Oklahoma doing a Christmas program, and it was early December, so we did a Christmas pillow, and that's a Christmas tree ornament. I love this fabric. This fabric's got like a metallic finish to it. It actually Zentangle, very cool. Yeah. And I've got a couple table runners. This pattern's gonna be in my new book. You might recognize these little points. That is that point ruler. We still have a couple left on the wall, but that's how I did the points on there. That's sheared welting. Yeah. I didn't have time to show that yesterday. Maybe if we have enough time today, I can show you how to do that. But that's just done with the ruffler. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, there's a point one right there. Right there. Oh, the little one.
Oh, this one.
Yeah, that's the point ruler.
Oh, point ruler.
Excuse me. Did this lady leave? Did this lady leave? Oh, she moved.
No. One.
So, here's another pillow, and this one, this is like the other one, but I want to show it because it has a different trimming. I used the wave stitch on my serger. I did the wave stitch over a piece of bias. Are we ready? Okay. I used the wave stitch. I folded over a piece of bias, and I dropped my cutter, and I just sewed along the fold, and I made a wave stitch piping, and then sewed that into my pillow. Okay? Using an 8-weight thread. Nice and heavy. Here's another one. This embroidery design is also going to be in the new book. When these go through, you'll look at this embroidery design, and you can see I added pen to it. So this is my thing. I do embroidery, and then I do pen enhancement. It's not just free motion stitching, and I do free motion stitching, but I always add the pen because there's stuff that you can do with a pen that you can't do with thread, or it's just really, really difficult. Okay? Go ahead. Yes?
So
You do heat set it, yes. You have to heat set it to make it permanent.
Then once you wash, it really works. And
Yeah. Well, that jacket, that base jacket's probably been washed 5 times.
Really?
Yeah, that's why it's a little faded. And sometimes they do get faded out if you wash them a lot. Yes, question?
Yeah, can you use micron pens?
You can use micron pens, but if you use the real tiny ones, the nib gets caught in the fibers. So, but you can use them, absolutely, yes.
So the fabric pen, the Sakura, I can use that one too.
Yes. Okay, so this is the turtle, and this has got Zentangle on the back, done by the Sashiko. Okay, and then this has the serge piping with the beading in it. Are you going to do that with the beading?
I can, but I didn't think about that one.
Yeah.
I can do that one. Just remind me.
Okay, so then, and here's another pillow. This is my 3D star pillow. This pattern is in the Got Quilts book, okay? But it's also a freestanding pattern by itself up here. So you can get that pattern 2 ways. If you've got Quilts, you already have it. If you don't want the book, this is the pattern by itself, okay? Now you'll notice if you look at this, there's 5 blocks on this side, 5 blocks on this side. Of the 10 Zentangle blocks, one of them is embroidered, and it's right here. So I did embroidery and pen, so you could see the difference, okay? So that being said,
Are these beads put in crochet?
yes. Pretty cool, huh? I love that technique. It's so much fun. Okay. Huh? Well, because we have suit teaching sergers. I can't do... Okay. All right, so I started thinking about embroidery designs and said, okay, I need to come up with some embroidery collections besides my book. And so I started out with a flower collection. While you guys are visiting, I'm just going to check my email. So let me know when you're ready. Okay. Works every time. Okay, this is my embroidery collection that I call Tangled Blooms. Okay, so what I wanted to do was create an embroidery collection where the flowers could be done 4 ways. Okay, so you can stitch that flower out as a freestanding flower like this, like what's on my jacket. You can stitch it out as a fill stitch, which is right here. Or you can stitch it out as an applique, and I've got an applique right here. You can stitch it out 4 ways, and you can Zentangle it. Okay, the basket is Zentangled too, and that's the basket's part of the embroidery collection. There's 5 different flowers altogether. There's a poinsettia, a tulip, a palmaria, a water lily, and a daisy. This is the poinsettia done as a Zentangle. Okay, I'll show that on the camera. Poinsettia done as a Zentangle. All right. Then I did the flower in 2 different formats. Remember yesterday I talked about that Texture Magic? Okay. The top part of this is done with the Texture Magic. So when I did this one, I just had the sheer fabric, my organdy, and then when I did this one, I added the Texture Magic and steamed it, and you can see it crinkled it up, and it gave it some nice. It made it curl up a little bit, make it more 3D. I used my serger to do the top stitching on here and to put the rickrack on, and then on the back, that was a free motion Zentangle that I did on a TV show for. One of them, I don't remember. It's an online, it's like Craftsy, but it's like their competitor. I think it's called Daily Craft TV or Craft Daily TV. Daily Craft TV. Yeah, this is one I did on Daily Craft TV. Okay? And so we free motion this, and then we added the pen. And this one's been washed a couple times, so it's a little more faded. No, okay, so the question is, when I do organza, am I using 1 layer? I generally use 2 layers, okay? I don't put anything, you mean stabilizer? No, I don't use any stabilizer. Sometimes I use a wash away if I'm afraid, if it's a heavier design. Okay, so let's talk about those 3D flowers, like the ones on my jacket. So the tool that I use, and I have it down here somewhere, I had it. I had the box here just a little while ago. It's the heat cutting tool. Do you see it there? I had it. I know I had it because I saw it this. Oh, here it is, back here. This is what I use. So what I do, you have to use a synthetic fabric. You can't use a cotton organdy. You need to use a polyester or nylon organdy or organza. All right. And what you do is I hoop 2 layers of it. And if you need to use a stabilizer, like I said, use a wash-away one. Then you use that heat cutting tool, and it's like a stencil cutter. And what it does is because it's so hot, it kind of cauterizes and melts the fabric. So you need to use rayon thread, not polyester, rayon embroidery thread, because that won't melt. Okay? And then you just go around the outside of the design, and that's how you cut the flowers out.
And all those instructions are in that pattern, right? What kind of, like the polyester organdy and whatnot?
I don't know if they're in there or not, to tell you the truth. Because it's been a while since I made it, and I don't remember. I slept since then. Yeah, synthetic, either nylon or polyester, something that will melt, so that when you use the heat cutting tool. Now, if you did it with cotton organdy, could you do it? Absolutely, but you'd have to scissor cut it. Okay, and so you can still do it, but you have to use scissors. And some of those on that pillow were cut with scissors. These I didn't use stabilizer because there's not a lot of stitching, but it depends on how it was digitized. Okay, the butterfly I would stabilize because there's heavier stitching on that, heavier satin stitch. Okay, but this stuff, no, I don't.
I was going to say, I made one of those in class. I put it on a hat.
Oh, cool! She made one and she put it on a hat. But I love doing these 3D flowers. If you've not done these, they gonna do these at the embroidery camp? These 3D flowers?
I'm not going to be there. What
Do you don't know what they're doing? Who would know it's being taught at embroidery camp? Ellie? Okay. So maybe I can teach that when I come back. Okay? Because that's a really fun technique. I do a great hands-on embroidery class where you learn a lot of different techniques. We do 3D flowers. We do the borders. Remember the pillows yesterday with the embroidered borders? We do that. We do a bunch of fun stuff. Okay. All right. Did I pass around all the samples? Okay. So I passed around the samples. Let me just show you, too. If you look, I talked a little bit about Zentangle yesterday, about these books. This is a book. These are the books written by my best friend in high school. This one book right here, One Zentangle a Day, has outsold all of the art books in history. It has outsold all of the Zentangle books combined, including all the quilting ones. Okay? It has been on the bestseller list since it first came out 2.5 years ago. It'll be 3 years in October. Okay? And it is just an amazing, amazing, good-selling book. Written by, yes. The name is One Zentangle a Day. Written by my best friend from high school. We were in the same 6-person art program together. Okay? She is a rock star. Her name's Becca Krahula. There's a picture of her in the back. And so this is, if you want a book that's going to teach you Zentangle step by step, this teaches you the steps. Can you see that, Mark? This teaches you the steps, and it's just an amazing book. Now, my book will have step-outs, too, like this, but this book is, by most Zentangle teachers, this is considered the Bible of Zentangle. Okay?
I have a question.
Yes.
On the pillow that you said had been washed several times.
Yes.
And had the stand-down flowers.
Yep.
Did you take them off?
Oh, no. I just threw it in the washing machine. No, you don't need to. Nope. Okay. Then this is Becca's second book, which just came out about 2 months ago. And she just finished writing her third book a few weeks ago, and that'll be out in the fall. This one is called 500 Tangled Artworks. And so that one is the how-to book. This one is the inspiration book. Okay? And I want you, when this comes around, I'm gonna bookmark this, what I want you to look at here. There's a section in here that you really need to see because you will recognize some of the work. See that? There it is. And there's some of my stuff. And you can see some more of my tangled, and look at that. That's the leaves from my jacket, right? And so she's put in a bunch of my works that you're seeing today in here, okay? I'll put a little bookmark in there. Do I have anything to make a bookmark here? I know. Okay, 500 tangles. So, and if you do, even though Becca wrote this book, if you want me to sign like a page where my work is, I would be happy to sign that for you. Okay. So, and this is what the Tangle Blocks embroidery collection looks like. I'll pass that around. That's what the embroidery collection looks like, and that should be on your list.
Who's going to give me the biggest bit?
All right, so the other thing I want to show, and ladies, I have more of these books at home, so if we run out, we can back order them. That's not a problem, okay? So,
Amazon.
okay, Amazon did not pay me to come here. Okay? You guys need to know, you need to buy everything from Janice. Janice is the one that paid for my plane ticket. Janice is the one that paid for my rental car. She paid for my dinner last night. We need to support Janice. Okay? So I don't want anyone going online and ordering from Amazon. Do not order that. Order it from Janice. Okay? She's the one we need to take care of. Because if she goes out of business, where are you going to go for classes? Okay? Well, yeah, what am I going to do?
I know.
Where do we go? We just have to get together and forget about them, right? Yeah. With Janice, because she'll have really close. Yeah.
I got one.
Okay.
I got mine last night.
You did, yes. Sure.
Any of those designs that you've done about that thing, about how long does it take you to draw?
Well, I'm going to draw some, and you'll see. Okay. So I started just doing squares. I just started cutting fabric squares, and I Zentangle on airplanes. I Zentangle waiting for my shuttle. I Zentangle waiting for my flight to leave. You get it. I spend a lot of time traveling. I can take a couple squares of fabric and a couple pens and put them in my pocket or put them in my purse, and I can take it with me anywhere. So anytime I want to do something, I've got all the stuff. In fact, you know those little zipper bags we made yesterday? That's where I keep all my Zentangle stuff. I keep them in a little zipper bag and just stick it in my purse. So this is one of the quilts that I made with some of the blocks. There's actually a bigger one, a bed-sized quilt at home, but this is my travel one, okay? So this pattern will be in my new book. This is a pattern by Trudy Hughes, and she actually gave me permission to put it in my book. But isn't it cool? I'm holding it sideways. And when this goes around, you'll see there's prairie points here, and there's also my signature piping on the binding, which I showed you yesterday. Okay? Yes. The Tangled Home. Tangled Home. The Tangled Home. What's that? The Tangled Home is my new book that's going to have all these projects in it that I'm showing you. Okay? Yeah, it'll be out later this year. It's about 3/4 written now. I still have to do some photography, and I've got to finish writing, and then it's got to go to formatting and all that. Yes, question? The Fabricos I use for shading. The Identi pens I use for drawing. I'm going to get to that. Okay. The thing is, I'm going to pass all the samples around now, and then we're going to all draw. Okay? All right. So, Sue, do you mind helping me hold this up? Because I know it's just a little easier. Let's hear. I know this is sideways, folks, but
We're short.
we're short. I will not be passing this quilt around. Okay? This is for the cover of my book, and I will not pass it around. I don't want anything to happen to it. So if you want to see it during the break, you can come up and look at it. Okay? All of these blocks were hand-drawn. Okay? Now, some people say, well, you could just print those. Well, for me, the joy is doing the drawing. Okay? That's where I get my pleasure. Okay? Yes? Well, I'm so glad you said that.
I think we can.
I'm so glad you said that. What if we can't draw? Do you have an embroidery machine? No. Oh, then that really sucks to be you. These are all embroidered. They're all embroidered. This is my embroidery collection called Tangle Blocks. So these are wonderful blocks, and I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of the lady who brought this up. Who was it? Was it Darlene? Was it Darlene? Oh, Darlene. Darlene embroidered this last night and brought it in. So I'm going to show you how to do pen enhancement on one of the blocks. Isn't that cool? Thank you, Darlene. So she embroidered. She embroidered this block right here. Okay. So these are all embroideries and then I went over it with the pen. So we're going to do some of that. Okay. You need to get an embroidery machine, girlfriend. Okay. right, so now we're going to draw. I guess I'll put my iPad away. This is usually when the class gets very quiet, when we're all drawing. You can almost hear a pin drop. I have to tell you, I teach a hands-on all-day Zentangle class, and people say at the end of the day, they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe how fast the day went. And it's like, they say that doing 20 minutes of Zentangle is equal to taking a power nap. It really does make you feel better, and because it rests your brain, you know? Okay. Because sometimes, you know, to do a power nap, it's not about your body needing rest, it's about your brain needing to be quieted, right? And if you got a brain that races all the time like mine. Okay, so what I'm doing is I have a Zentangle mat here, and I'm going to pass this around so you can look at this. When this comes around, stick your hand in there and feel how sticky it is. This is what I used to draw on fabric with. Actually, we're not going to use this first because we're going to draw on paper first, aren't we? Yeah. So I'm just going to move this. That's what I used to draw on fabric. Here's my paper square, and here's my pen. Now these 3 pens are the pens I use the most. Okay, those are all available at the counter in a little tub. Okay, I'm going to sit down for this because yesterday I didn't sit down much because I was sewing, but I can sit for this one. Let's get a chair up here. Woo, we ready? Okay, so first thing we're going to do is I'm going to use this pen. This is the Prismacolor pen. The Micron pens are great, okay? I just happen to like this one better.
What is it?
It's called Prismacolor. But if you have the Micron pens work good. That's what Zentangle recommends. I have my personal reasons for wanting this pen, and I'm not going to share it. But these pens work great, okay? This is just the one I choose to use. It's called Prismacolor. We have them at the counter. So there's 3 different pens at the counter. There's the one that's pretty much all black. There's the silver one with the black tips that says Identi pen. And then the black pen with the gray tips that says Fabrico. Okay, these are the pens that I use the most. Okay? Y'all with me? So I want you to take this, and you're going to put your name. Don't write Pam, because that's my name. And then write today's day. And today, is it the 15th? Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Just write it anywhere, okay? And if it's your first one, you could write my first tangle on it, or my first Zentangle, either way, okay? And then flip it over, because the other side is the side that we're going to draw on. It's the same on both sides. We're going to start with our pencil. That's why I gave you all a pencil. Isn't that a cute little pencil? Yes. I have a friend who's a CZT in Canada. She can't get these. They won't ship pencils into Canada. Isn't that weird? So she's ordering them and send them and ship to my house. And so when she comes to visit, she can pick them up.
Ma'am, we have a question.
Question in the back.
So the pens you're using now are different from the black ones and the kids.
They're very, very similar. The 01 pen is pretty much the same pen as this. Okay? So, if you have the Micron pens, those work fine. And if you want to buy the sets, this set's nice because it has a nice. This is a beautiful pencil. They have nice sets. There's 3 different sizes of sets, so you can pick out the one that you want. Okay? The Microns on the wall. Yep. And those are the ones that the Zentangle people endorse. They're the official Zentangle pens. The black ones, I ordered them from a company in Texas. Or no. Are they in Texas? Or New Orleans? I don't know. I get them from one of my art suppliers. Okay? So, I'm sorry. I should have put a new Band-Aid on here. My fingers, I cut myself. When I was doing wild cord in Winchester a couple days ago, when I was snipping with my scissors, I cut a little chunk out of my finger. Let me see if I can peel that off without it bleeding. It's probably better to just have that off because that Band-Aid looks gross. Okay, there we go. I may. Let's just see how it probably is good to let the air get to it. Okay, so we're going to make 4 dots in the corners, about a 1/4 of an inch in. And then we're going to connect the dots, and you can do a straight line, you can do a curved line. This is all done with the pencil. And now we're going to draw our strings, which is going to divide the areas of what we're going to do. So I want you, and in Zentangle, the basic shapes are 1, C, S, and 0. Does anyone think they can't do those 4 shapes? Okay? Pretty easy, huh? If you could just make those, you got it, right? Sometimes we get tricky. Sometimes you got to make a dot.
Okay, I can
Okay.
do that.
Yeah, pretty easy. This is the most fun thing to do if you've got little ones at home to do with them. It's so much fun. I do this with my great niece. So we're going to draw the letter S, like that. So we're going to have 3 areas, 1, 2, 3. We're going to switch over to a pen. If you just have the pencil, that's fine. You can stay. But if you have a pen, you can switch over to a pen. You could even use a ballpoint pen if you want to. I don't care. And so I'm switching over to a pen, and I'm going to draw a C and connect these 2 lines. And then I'm going to draw another C and connect the 2 lines so it's parallel. And draw another C, and another C, and another C, and another C. One of the reasons why I don't use this pen on fabric is you see the nib on here is very tiny compared to this. This is a much sturdier nib. It doesn't get caught in the fibers. Okay, if you want to look at the 2 tips. How's Mark doing? Is he getting up nice and close? Good job. Okay, now we're going to connect these 2 C's with another little C, kind of a rounded little C on the outside. Okay? And now we're going to come down the middle, and we're going to stop, make a dot, and then continue. In Zentangle, when you break a line like this, it's supposed to look like it's reflections, you know, like a bright spot. We call that a sparkle.
Oops, I didn't do it down the middle.
That's okay. It's okay. There's no wrong way to do Zentangle. That's the cool thing. Everybody interprets what they think they want to do a little bit differently. Okay? We're going to do an echo line on each side. And then as we go out, we're going to slightly curve it. Slightly curve. So it's kind of bulging. Okay? And ignore your pencil line. If your pencil line goes the other way, just ignore it at this point. Can't see on my hand? Okay. Trying to keep my hand out of the way here.
Man, it's quiet.
I tell you, when I teach this, it's so quiet. One of the cool things about doing Zentangle is you'll never look at life the same way, because you'll look at shadows and you'll look at lines and you'll think, oh, that could be a Zentangle. It's pretty cool. It really does open your eyes to a whole new way of looking at life. Now I'm taking lines just where these 2 C's are. I'm just putting a line in between, kind of not quite connecting it or overlapping, like that. I did right here, just right up the middle between those 2 C's. when you put your cap back on your pen, you know, it goes on. You want to make sure to push it down all the way because they do dry out if you don't push it down all the way. Let's put a little Zentangle music on. Where is my Zentangle music? That's not what I want. Here we go. Okay, what do you think? Now we're going to shade it. So look at my hands. And what's darker? The one on the bottom, right? And when you look at my fingers, what's darker? It's what's down in between. And that's what makes my fingers look rounded. It's light up here and dark down here. Does everyone see that? So what we want to do is create that same effect here. So what's going to be darker is here. So take the side of your pencil and just lightly shade. Just lightly shade. And lightly shade with the side of the pencil. And then it looks to me like these lines are going underneath these lines, right? You can see how they go underneath. So we're going to lightly shade right here. Lightly shade. And that's another thing. A lot of Zentangle teachers don't spend time on shading. I think shading is so important. And then I'm going to blend that. And to blend, we use this little white stick called a tortillon. Or I call it a smudger. And we just rub. Okay? But you can use your fingers to smudge it. And just by doing a little smudging, see how it has that, it's getting that 3D effect and it's looking more, almost, you know, more photographic than a sketch almost.
Yeah, don't do that on white.
Don't do it on what?
She's got white pants on.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah. I admire anyone that can wear white pants. I wear white pants and first thing I do is spill my tea on it first thing in the morning or something else in my breakfast. I'm such a slob. And so in blending it, it gives it sort of a gradual, soft, more of a 3D effect, right?
Now, are you blending the pencil?
I'm blending the pencil, yes. The pen would not blend because it's permanent.
Right.
So it's just the pencil that blends.
So if we're doing this on fabric.
I'm going to get there.
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to get there. Trust me, I'm going to get there. I know what you're thinking, but just give me a chance here. We'll get there.
Smudger. That's what you called it, a smudger.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Are they in the kit too?
They are in the starter kit, yes. I think so. They should be. Yeah, they're in the starter kit. This is the starter kit. If you decide you want one of these, the price list is on there. These have everything you need to get started on fabric. There's a journal, because I always practice on a journal before I go do it on fabric, you know, to just kind of get the feel for it and to see if I like it. Because some designs I don't like drawing. And if I don't like drawing them, they're not relaxing me. They're not being beneficial. I only draw things that I like. But I always like to find new ones. So sometimes, like at night, my husband works evenings. He actually switched jobs 8 years ago so he could ski every day in the wintertime and that he could fish every day in the summertime. Okay? So he works at a prison. For those of you that weren't here yesterday, my husband, I say I can't retire till my husband gets out of jail. He's got to put his 20 years in. And so he became a nurse kind of later in life. He became a nurse when he was 40. Actually, he started nursing school when he was 40. Became a nurse at 42. And he's an RN at a maximum security prison. That's what he does. Yeah. It's a job. You know, some people work to live, and some people live to work. I live to work. He works to live. Yeah, and so it's all good. He came home one day and said to me, "Oh, they're hiring in the tailor shop. They're looking for someone to run the tailor shop at the jail. You should go apply for it." I go, "Huh?" He goes, "It's a really good job." He goes, "It's good benefits." I go, "I don't need good benefits. You got benefits. I don't need them." He's like, "You don't want to do that." I go, "Have you not met me?" Question. Does not have embroidery designs. No, it's for drawing. So what it is it has the journal. It has this Zentangle mat. It has a CD. Now this, or DVD. This DVD is not the quality of my other DVDs. Those DVDs on the wall are professionally produced. This is a webinar that we did that was recorded, so the quality isn't as good. I'll tell you that, okay, just so you know. But then there's pens. It's everything you need to do it on paper and on fabric, and that's all in here, okay?
Would you recommend this, even though this is not?
Yeah, it's still, you can have you ever watched a webinar? Sometimes it's a little fuzzy, but you can see what I'm doing. It's just that it's internet quality as opposed to production quality. That's all. But it still is very good. Okay, ready for another design? We're starting out with some of my favorites here, of course. This one I love. It's so fun. I start out with Morse code, okay? A dot, a dash, and a dot. Okay? After you do that, you're going to go, and it's what I do, you notice how I kind of keep rotating my tile? I do that, and that works out really nicely. Dot and a dash, and a dot and a dash, or a dash and a dot. So it's like a plus sign. Okay? Then we're going to go here, dot, a dash, dot, dash, dot. They're on your prices. I think they're $45, I think. How's that? There's more than one way to eat a cat. I always say I love cats, but I can't eat a whole one by myself. My poor little kitty has gotten so skinny. She was always a little bit on the chunky side, and then she started losing weight. But I thought, oh, she's old. She's 16, 17. She's 17 now, but she started losing weight last year. Okay? And let's do another one. We're going to do a bunch of them. So she got kind of skinny, and then I was traveling so much this winter. I came home. I've been gone for like 2-3 weeks, and she hopped up on my lap, which is not normal for her because we call her BC. Because even though her name's Annie, her nickname is BC because she bitch slaps everybody, so they call her bitch cat. She's been so mean. So she gets on my lap and she's purring and she's sweet, and I'm like, okay, this cat's definitely sick. And I go to pet her, and I can feel every joint in the back of her backbone. So I called my vet. She's got hyperthyroid disease, so she needs to be put on medication. My husband's like, it's bad enough we got to give the dog 2 pills a day for seizure disorder. Now we got to give the cat 2 pills a day. But she's doing better now. She's putting on weight and she's getting mean again. So I think she's feeling better. And then if I do a little bitty one, I might just do the 8 legs. I don't do the 16 legs. Sometimes I just do the little bitty ones and just don't do as many legs. Doesn't it look like fireworks? Isn't it fun? That's okay.
She's had more practice.
I've had more practice, yes. I've been certified now for 2 years. Yes. And then you can do some of these that are like falling off the page. So I can do like a half of one right here. So I've married into a very wonderful family, and my husband has 1 sister and 3 brothers. And so I said, my sister-in-law is very creative, but and I love her to pieces. Don't get me wrong, but she tends to think she's the only one in the family that's creative. So, and I just let her think that. I don't really care. So anyway, I said to her, couple years ago, I said, oh, I'm going to go get certified to do Zentangle. And she's like, oh, yeah, I've been doing that. You don't need to get certified. I would just do it on my own. I'm like, well, that's fine. Yeah, good for you. Good for you. And so her little granddaughter, who's my great niece, just love her to pieces. And I started doing Zentangle with her. And she's riding home in the car one day with her mother, and she says, Mommy, I think Aunt Pam's way better at Zentangle than Grandma. What does my niece do? She posted on Facebook. I said, don't do that. Your mother won't talk to me. She didn't. She was okay. After you make your little, I'm going to put a little bitty one right here. Some little ones in the corners here. After you make them, you're going to take your pencil, and I draw what I call a donut, just a soft shading circle. Soft shading circle. Now, I had a little girl in my class. I was teaching class in North Carolina in January. And it was a hands-on class. It was an evening hands-on class. And it was a full class. I had like, I don't know, probably 25, 30 people. And there was a woman sitting like in the front row with her daughter, who was probably, I'm thinking she was older than she looked. She looked like she was about 16, but I'm thinking she might have been 18 or 20. And I said, you know, it's really good for people with autism and learning disabilities. And the mom elbowed her, like, see? You know, kind of like this, and nodding her head. So I had a feeling that this little girl had some learning disabilities. And oh my gosh, the way that kid brain worked, I would draw something and she would draw completely different, you know. And so what I started doing was, I didn't correct her. What I did was, oh my God, you guys need to see what Lauren did over here. Let's put her tile under the camera. Look how she did this. So you can do it any way you want. You can do it the way I do it, or you can work outside the box. That little girl was beaming. Her mom came the next day she was in my hands-on class the next day, and she said, Pam, you don't realize what you did for my daughter last night. She said, she is on cloud 9. She said, I'm buying the kit, I'm buying all the supplies, she's going to do this. She was so excited that what she was doing was acceptable. And it just, it was really sweet, because I haven't taught a lot of kids. I mostly teach adults, and it was just very rewarding to know that I made a difference. Okay, ready? Okay, so for the next one, I'm going to draw some half circles, kind of like the size of a half of a nickel or a half of a quarter. Just draw some half circles. And then I'm going to do an echo line here. Just trace like around the outside, come in maybe about another 1/8 of an inch and echo the line. So this is supposed to be relaxing, folks. Don't get all stressed out if yours doesn't look like mine. Just enjoy the ride, okay? Getting there is half the fun. So now I'm just echoing this and just doing little echo. In Zentangle, this is called aura-ing, which to me is really hard to say, so I call it echoing because it's easier to say, because it's the same thing if you're quilting, you were doing echoing. Now you've got a couple choices. You can color in, and I'll use my black pen to do this a little faster. You can color in one of these guys completely in black if you want to. But what I do sometimes is I like to add another little element inside. So what I do is it looks like kind of like a sesame seed. Draw like a upside down teardrop or a sesame seed, and draw another one, and then draw another one, and then you've got a flower inside.
Sure.
I'm sure Janice is wondering, why are they so quiet? What's going on? Did they all fall asleep? And I use my heavier pen to do the coloring in because it's just easier than the fine tip. And that's why the Zentangle pen sets are nice, because you have different size tips on them. So you can use the bigger tip for coloring in. There's no erasing in Zentangle. You just keep going on. You don't emphasize the mistakes. Don't just keep moving on. And what happens is, when you get done, you don't even notice. If you looked at my stuff really closely, you'd see a lot of mistakes there. Design elements. That's great. And then up the middle of these guys, I'm going to just draw a line up the middle of these little sesame seeds, and draw a line with a dot, because I think that adds a lot to it. And there we are. Can I get closer? Can you get closer? And if we want to shade that, what I do is I shade in between. The little guy in the middle, I'm going to make him dark. I'm going to color him in.
Our experts know tires, enough to expertly install more than 3.5 million last year. That level of service will give you more confidence.
That's my iPad. I'm too cheap to pay for Pandora. I just use the free version, so that's a commercial.
Select tires when you use the Ford Service credit card at the Big Tire event. Ford Service, go with confidence. Subject to credit approval.
And then just shade. If I listened to Pandora more, I would probably pay for it, but I don't listen to it very often. I don't listen to it in the car. I always listen to books on tape. Has anyone read The Girl on the Train? Yeah, I'm listening to that right now. Yeah. I downloaded it to listen to on my trip to Toronto, and I ended up listening to The Longest Ride instead with my assistant, because she was interested in that book, and I'd already heard it, but I listened to it again. So now, and my daughter listened to. I said to her, I downloaded a new book. My daughter goes on my account and listens to my books, and she said, "Oh, Mom, you're gonna love Girl on a Train." So yeah, it's pretty good. Is it better than? Is it the same guy? Is it, no. Yeah. That was one messed up chick, wasn't she? She was. I listened to that one too. She was one messed up chick. Yeah. The Orphan Train. Okay, I've not listened to that one. You know what ones I just listened to too that were really good, written by Wall is her last name. I'm trying to think of her first name. The Glass Castle, Jeanette Wall. Yeah, The Glass Castle and The Half-Broke Horses. I really like those two also. That poor little girl, what a horrible life she had, huh? And that's a true story. The Glass Castle is Jeanette Wall's basically autobiography. Her family was really messed up. Makes you really appreciate your childhood. And then Half-Broke Horses is based on her grandmother, but it's not completely factual. But the Glass Castle is. Huh? Half-Broke Horses. Yep. Yeah, I do the Audible thing, and then I put them on my iPad, and I just listen to them when I'm in the car. Yep. All right, is everybody done? Okay, let's do some fabric. Yay! Let's draw on some fabric. I wanted to iron these out. Did I iron? Okay, I'm going to show you a few of these that I've done already. So if you want to put the camera on, this is one that I did already. Okay. Here's another one. Here's a heart. These are all drawn. This one I'm not finished yet. I got to finish that one. This one's not finished either. Or maybe I'll just leave it like that, but got that one.
Are you just on cotton?
On cotton, yep. There's a feather that I started. Maybe I'll work on this one. So those are just some. This is another one that I started that I've not finished. Okay. Okay. So, yes?
Is that black sheet in that starter kit?
Yes. The black sheet is in the starter kit. Okay, I like to draw a lot of these on that white-on-white fabric because I like the texture of that fabric. Let me just press these, and I'm going to pass them around. I like the texture of it, okay? Just love the way that feels, okay? Are there any long armers in the room? Any long arm quilters? Oh, a lot of you. Great. You're going to love this because a lot of this stuff you can take to the long arm. Well, my jeans jacket, my pink jeans jacket that I don't use anymore, I probably washed that about 12 times, and it still has the pattern, but it has faded a little bit. So I would say, you know, a few times, yeah. You can always go back and redraw it, right? Just trace over the lines, right? Okay. Yes?
Can you use the pen style gel roller?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, that's a nice pen to use for fabric, yes.
How is it you're shading with pencil?
I'm going to get there. Be patient, grasshopper. Okay. All right, I'm just going to start a new one here. So the first thing I like to do, okay, so if I'm using a white-on-white fabric, you've got two options, right side or wrong side. When you're doing the wrong, I prefer to draw on the wrong side, okay, because I feel that the shading goes better, okay? So let's start, and I start out with the friction pen, okay? This is what I make my temporary lines with. So this basically takes the place of the pencil in the beginning, okay? So what I do is, these are my tools that I used before on paper, okay? This pen replaces this pen. This replaces this, and this replaces this. And that's a gray pen that you use for blending. Okay? All right, so I'm going to draw a design. Oh, what do I want to draw today? I'm just going to draw just some lines. I'm using the friction pen. This is a pen that when I iron it, it will disappear. Okay? So I'm just drawing some just random lines here. These are my strings. These are my different patterns that I'm going to do. Okay? Someone asked me, how long does it take to do a block? So let's time it. What time is it now? Oh, it's almost break time. Well, I'll draw a little bit and then we'll take a break. Okay? I'm going to use the Identi pen. I always draw with the small tip. The bigger tip is the tip that I use for shading in darker areas. This is my older pen here. I'm going to use this one. So I'm going to use the small tip, and this tip glides very nicely over the fabric as opposed to this tip. Plus it makes a stronger line. Okay? So I'm going to draw a line. Draw another line parallel. I'm going to break it right here. Okay. Little C here. And upside down heart. And it looks like a leaf. Okay. Where I did the break, I'm going to do another stem. Smile, upside down smile or C. Okay? Let's do another one. Now we're going to do something different. We're going to make something go behind something else. Okay? You're not videotaping me, are you? Okay. And just so you know, Brad did ask for permission to videotape my stuff, and I granted that to him. He's pretty cool, isn't he? Love the videos with his little girl, Meadow. Is she like stinking cute or what? Oh my gosh, I love that. I could eat that little bugger up. Now, where do you see the videos that she does? Is it on their Facebook channel? Yeah. I've got to go on there and look. She is so cute. I've got to go like them on Facebook so I can see her stuff. And she's on YouTube too? She is so cute.
So where can we find, if we miss something, like the last 2 days? YouTube?
I think Brad is putting it on YouTube.
Hear it from the store.
Yes, on the store's page. And also, I think he's giving it to me so I can put it on my page, too. What do you think? It's fun, isn't it? And you're saying to yourself, okay, work with me, girls, pay attention. You're saying to yourself, I can do that, right? That's not so hard, right? I can draw a heart. I can draw an S. I can draw a C, right? And then you're going to do ones that go from behind that are underneath. Okay? And you just keep working it until you get something that you like, okay? Now, how do I shade this? Well, let's do some shading. What's darker? The stuff underneath? The stuff behind, right? Alright, so let's do some shading. So let's look at this. This stem right here is underneath. That's going to get shaded. Okay? So I draw a line and then I just kind of flick my pen to make it soft. Okay? Flick. And then when you look at these leaves, maybe this underneath part is a little shaded right here. Now this pen looks much darker until it dries. It's gonna get lighter once it dries. How many of you are hooked now? No, not everybody? I'll tell you what, I haven't met a person who's actually given this a try that hasn't loved it. Even my husband can do it. So if a man can do it, it's got to be easy. Oh, sorry, guys.
Can I give this to the people on the plane that won't stop talking while
I actually have taught people on planes. Yeah.
I don't want to teach them, I just want them to do it.
Well, you're going to have to teach them. You can't. You got to teach them a little bit because actually I've had students on planes that have, people who've seen me doing it and they're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "You want to try it?" Sure. What do you think of the shading? It makes a difference, doesn't it? Yep.
It's like the embroidery thread when it goes in a different direction, it kind of shapes it.
Yep.
Because from here, when she showed the stuff, it was like
So what we're going to do after the break is I'm going to actually draw something on paper. We're going to scan it. We're going to let the Destiny scan it and stitch it out. Are we excited about seeing that? And while it's stitching, then I will take Darlene's design and I'll do some shading to show you how to shade one of my embroidery designs, and then we'll shade the design that stitches out. Okay? So I'm just going to draw a little bit more, and then we'll take a break. I want to show you how to do feathers, because I know a lot of you long armors love feathers, right? So we're going to do a feather, and then I'm going to let you take a break. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do the feather right here. This is a nice shape for the feather. I'm just going to make a line right up the middle, and that's going to be the center of my feather. Okay? And the one thing with doing Zentangle, as with doing this on a sewing machine, it's all about practice. Now, the nice thing about this is if you are a machine quilter, even if you don't have a long arm, if you just quilt by machine, the more Zentangle you do, the better your quilting will get, because this increases your hand-eye coordination, and it also increases your muscle memory. Because your brain remembers these shapes. Yes, I do it with free motion on the sewing machine. And that was one of the reasons why I decided to get into Zentangle, because around the same time I got my long arm, I wanted to be more proficient with my long arm. So this could all be done as one row of stitching. I'm lifting the pen up, but if you had this by machine, this could all be done with one continuous row of stitching without lifting up your needle and cutting your thread. And the thing with doing feathers, it's you kind of get into the rhythm of it, right? Right?
Right. She expects responses.
This is an interactive program, girls. Okay, so this I could do with my machine, but then how would I enhance it with the pen? Then I come up with my pen. Doesn't that add a lot to it? Okay, so you just match your pen to the color thread that you're using, and there you are. That's why the pens come in 8 colors. So I got to tell you a little story. We have 3 cars, my husband and I. He has his car, which is actually pretty new. He just bought it at Christmas time. And my car is 12 years old. I drive a minivan, the mommy van. And not so much here, but when you live up north, pretty much everyone that has those minivans, they're all rusted on the side with the sliding doors because of the salt on the roads. I'm just filling this in with circles. Here's the thing. When you're drawing a circle, draw one and say to yourself, self. Which direction am I drawing? Am I drawing counterclockwise or clockwise? And once you decide what your comfort zone is, go the other way. Because if you go the opposite way that's your comfort zone, what happens is you will slow down and you'll make a prettier circle. Yeah. So anyway, I wanted to get my van painted. I wanted to take it to a body shop because I didn't want it to rust away, and it was starting to look pretty ghetto. So I said to my husband, I want to take it to a body shop, and he's like, that car's 12 years old. I don't know if it's worth painting. We don't know much longer it's going to last. So he said, it's got quite a few miles on it. He said, what if I fix it? I said, okay. He actually did a pretty good job. He really did. So what he did is he filled the holes with that foam insulation, and then sanded it, and then painted it. And the bottom edge there was silver, because my van's silver. He painted it black, and it's like a flat black. And there is a strip of flat black, like plastic. I think some people bang your doors, they don't dent your car. So it actually looks pretty decent. So now I've decided that since I didn't have to pay $3,000 for a paint job, I'm going to Zentangle the whole van. Right? Why not? It's 12 years old. And then my friend Kirby that I'm staying with said, and she said, if you put your logo on it, it's all tax deductible. I'm like, sweet. Or my website. So now I'm going to take the gray pen, and I'm using the brush side, and I'm going to just gently make a soft line right up the middle, and right up the middle of each feather. And again, this could be done with stitches, and then I can go over with the pen and enhance it. Right? And then these bubbles, I'm going to just kind of circle around the bubbles and go in between. Get the other end for that. Pretty cool, huh? I mean, if you're a machine quilter, these feathers take a little practice, but once you get it down, the more you do them, the easier they get. This will make your quilting better, When we come back, I'll show you another one-line design.